Hello and welcome to Academic Technology's Making Up Missed Classes webinar. My name is Heather, and today I'll be sharing with you some of the ways that you can use technology to make up class time missed probably due to inclement weather this semester, and also how to optimize your online classroom experience. Some of the tools I'll be discussing today include Blackboard Learn. I'm going to be demonstrating how to create an announcement, facilitate discussions, and also how to set up assignments all within Blackboard. Then I'm going to demonstrate for you how to use Echo 360 lecture capture software, and I'll talk more about what lecture capture is. Finally, I'm going to close today's webinar by discussing online web conferencing tools such as Blackboard Collaborate, and we'll actually be recording today's webinar within Collaborate. So to start, I want to talk about strategies for maximizing your class hours over the semester. And the best strategy is to plan backwards. You're going to want to assume that you're going to miss class time over the semester due to weather or campus emergencies. And the best practice is to have outlined in your syllabus on Blackboard what technologies you're going to use to connect with your students in the event that you can't meet in person. And one of the most powerful communication tools is Blackboard itself. So I'm going to share my screen and demonstrate for you a couple of the ways that you can use Blackboard. So this is my Blackboard course, and it brings me by default to the announcements page. And to create an announcement, you're just going to hit the Create Announcement button. One of the features I want to point out to you that this has that's most useful is if you scroll down to Web Announcement Options and check the box next to Email Announcement, it sends a copy of your announcement to your students' PACE email accounts, which helps if you're just trying to, get a message out to them as soon as possible. You can also, as I said, facilitate discussions within Blackboard. So if I go to the discussion board content area, I can create a forum on whatever topic I was planning to discuss with my students that day. So just like you would in person, you could have your students break off into groups or pose a question to the entire class, and your students can respond to you. They'll just be responding with written posts. And the great thing about this is that you can grade their posts. Just like you would grade class participation face-to-face, you can also grade their virtual participation. And having discussions online also allows your students to share more content. So a student could upload a video that was relevant to the course discussion. They could share a link to a website or an article that can help deepen the conversations that you're having in the classroom. You can also create an assignment within Blackboard. So if I go to the Assignments content area, I can create a test, but you can also create a Dropbox for your students to submit papers to. And to do that, you just go to Assessments and Assignment. Some of the features that it has that I want you to be aware of is that you can not only just title your assignment and include information about it, but you can attach a file that maybe you want your students to reference. You can set a due date, and you can also make a rubric available for your students so that they can see how their submissions are going to be judged. So those are some of the basic ways that you can use Blackboard. I want to point out some more resources for you. This is Academic Technology's digital toolkit, and it houses tutorials on all of the tools that we support. But today I just want to point out to you our Blackboard resources. So if I hit this Blackboard icon, it takes me to that section. And here we have PDF tutorials and video tutorials for faculty and students for how to do everything I just demonstrated and much, much more. So that's Blackboard. The next tool that I want to discuss today is Echo 360 Lecture Capture. And what Lecture Capture is it's a way for you to pre-record lectures and make them available online to your students. And this has two major purposes. The first is if you want to cover a certain amount of content but want to stay in line with the schedule you have outlined in your syllabus, you can make a quick lecture capture and send it to your students so that you can cover content without having to meet in person. And the second major use is that frees up your class time that you do have in person for more collaborative learning, more active learning. You can have more problem solving with your students when you do meet. So the first step, I'm going to demonstrate for you how to use Echo. And the first step is to have it installed on your machine. And you need to contact EdMedia to do so. So I have listed on the PowerPoint slide here the contact information for the New York campus, the Pleasantville campus, and the White Plains campus for the EdMedia offices. So once you have it installed, I'm going to share my screen again just to show you how I would do this. Once you have the program installed, you want to go to the Start menu, and you can just search Echo. It'll be the first thing that comes up. And then this Options menu opens, and you want to hit Start Capture. Then another option menu opens, and you want to hit Start Capture again. It gives you a 5-second warning before it starts to record. And now it's recording. So it's recording what's on my screen here, and it's also recording my voice. An echo recording needs to be about 15 seconds long, so in the interim I want to point out some more resources for you. If you go to the Classroom Technology section of our toolkit, we have some more information on Echo, and we also have a tutorial here which shows you how to do exactly what I'm doing right now, which is making a lecture and publishing it. So that was about 15 seconds. There's two ways you can pause your recording. You can hit Alt F2 on your keyboard, or you can right-click the Echo icon on your toolbar and hit Stop Capture. Then this menu opens up here. From here I can make some edits to my recording if I wanted, but for now I'm just going to hit Publish Recording. Then it prompts you to log in. You're going to log in with your PACE portal credentials. So the same stuff you used to get into Blackboard, the same stuff you used to get into ePortfolio. It's all synced up with the PACE network. Then a list of your courses will appear. I just have the one course, but if you're a professor who is teaching multiple courses, you would just select the course that the lecture capture you just made correlates to. So then you'd select that and hit Next. Just follow the prompts through, and you can title it. I'll call this one Missed Class, and then hit Publish. You can see that it's loading and it's published. It takes some time for the server to process your recording, but when it does, it generally takes pretty quick, and when it does, you'll get an email that looks like this. And what you want to do is provide the rich media playback link here to your students, and then they can view the recording that you made. So that's Echo. The next tool I want to discuss is Blackboard Collaborate, which is a web conferencing tool. What makes web conferencing different than lecture capture is, whereas lecture capture is more of a passive tool, you're giving information to your students and they're absorbing it, web conferencing allows your students to interact with you, but also interact with each other. As I said at the beginning, we're recording this webinar in Blackboard Collaborate, and you've already seen me use a few of those features. Number one, you can hear my voice, but also I've been able to take you to view external content by sharing my screen with you. I've been able to demonstrate things I'm doing on my desktop, and also, websites that I'm viewing. There's also the chat box, which allows you to answer and pose questions. Here in this slide, it gives you just a little bit more of what the interface looks like. If you're attending this webinar, you'll have already seen it, but just to review, we have the chat box down there, and you have the option to talk, and you can also do some video conferencing. At this point in the webinar, I'd like to give you our contact information. Our direct line is 914-773-3664. And we have two offices, one located on the Briarcliff campus at West Hall, and the other in New York at 156 William Street. You can email the academic technology team at acadtech@pace.edu. That's acadtech@pace.edu. If you have any questions about any of the tools discussed, please contact us. Thank you so much for attending.